An unprecedented change in the course of justice just happened in a major Second Amendment case, and it's got some judges very angry. Sorry for the environment. I'm packing, getting ready to head down to Iraq Veteran 8888's Range Day. I hope to see you all there, and if you do see me, stop and say hi. Let's get into this one.
I want to thank the sponsor of the video, that's Bullet Safe. Bullet Safe aims to be the #1 provider of body armor and personal security products. And you've seen me talk about the VP3 before. The VP3 comes in at $299.97, which is absolutely unheard of for a vest that is made in the USA, NIJ level 3A tested and certified, and extremely lightweight, ranging from 3.9 to 6.9 pounds.
I've worn a lot of body armor in my life and in my career, and this vest is extremely comfortable. I've worn it at some classes that I've taken recently, and nobody even knew I was wearing it, and I had full range of motion in my shoulders. Excellent vest. Check them out. Link is down below. Thanks to Bullet Safe for supporting the channel, and use that code to save money as well. All right, let's get a quick update on this case because it changed drastically yesterday. And this is the Duncan v. Bonta case out of California. This is Judge Benitez's famous Freedom Week case, right? He took California's the case for California's magazine ban, and I don't know, it's like 2.5 years ago, said that it was an unconstitutional law, and he struck it down because you can't ban the purchase of magazines because it is a violation of the Second Amendment. That was appealed to a 3-judge panel in the Ninth Circuit. They upheld Judge Benitez's decision, saying, yes, this is an unconstitutional ban and a violation of the Second Amendment. Then went to the en banc panel in the Ninth, which is the full circuit. That's an 11-judge panel, and that panel is undefeated when it comes to Second Amendment cases. I believe it's over 50 cases. It might be 53 cases that they have upheld unconstitutional gun control and never sided on the side of the Constitution. So the Ninth Circuit en banc panel said, yeah, we're going to uphold this law. California gun control is awesome. We love it. Safety. Safe, 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 safe. Well, it was appealed to the United States Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court held it in their pocket for a little bit because they were in the midst of deciding the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin decision. And in that case, we got the obvious text, history, and tradition standard, in which the Supreme Court said that you, the government, cannot have any restrictions on the Second Amendment unless it is consistent with the text of the Second Amendment and the history and tradition of gun control and gun regulation at the time the Second Amendment was adopted in 1791, and that is where we stand, and gun control has been destroyed since. And in response, immediately after the Bruin decision was rendered and handed down, the Supreme Court GVR'd the Duncan case. What does that mean? They granted certiorari, meaning we're taking this case officially. They vacated the decision of the Ninth Circuit en banc panel, and they remanded it back to the Ninth Circuit and said, redecide this case in line with the text, history, and tradition standard. So the Ninth Circuit then received the case, and rather than doing the right thing and rendering California's magazine ban unconstitutional immediately, which they could have done, they punted it. Not just punted it to the 3-judge panel, they punted it all the way back to the federal district court in Judge Benitez. We waited and waited and waited and waited, and Judge Benitez last week, 10 days ago-ish, everything runs together now, he again said, you know what, it's still unconstitutional, even if we use the text, history, and tradition standard, unconstitutional. However, this time Judge Benitez didn't allow Freedom Week to happen. He placed an immediate 10-day stay on his decision, giving the state time to appeal, which they did immediately. California appealed to the Ninth Circuit, and rather than it going to the Third Circuit en banc panel, like is traditional according to the rules of the Ninth Circuit, well, let's talk about those rules. There is a rule that says if a case is remanded from the Supreme Court, then that original 11-judge en banc panel can retake that case immediately. And they did that. So this original en banc panel, 11 judges, who upheld California's unconstitutional magazine ban, said, hey, you know what, we're going to take this case that the Supreme Court kicked back, and Judge Benitez said, yes, it's still unconstitutional, and we're going to decide. We're going to first extend this stay for another 10 days, so we might be getting a decision before October 10th, maybe. And my guess is that they're going to remain undefeated in the ninth. And that decision for them to take this and subvert the three-judge panel has a lot of judges upset. Let's look at what some of these judges said. So this was the case. This is the filing from yesterday. And let's start here where it says, the Supreme Court has held that the governing statute leaves it to each court of appeals to establish the procedure for exercise of the en banc power. In this circuit, matters arising after remand are directed to the en banc court, which will decide whether to keep the case or to refer it to the three-judge panel. Here, the en banc panel has exercised its discretion to keep the comeback appeal, as our rules contemplate. When a case is heard or reheard en banc, the en banc panel assumes jurisdiction over the entire case. General Order 6.4, moreover, provides that emergency motions in potential comeback cases are directed to the previous panel that heard the case, which in this case is the en banc court. Appellant Attorney General Rob Bonta has moved to stay the district court's permanent injunction, except to the extent that the California Penal Code Section 32310 prohibits possession of large capacity magazines that were lawfully acquired and possessed prior to the district court's judgment. This emergency motion seeks relief on or before October 2nd, 2023, when the district court's stay of the injunction expires. In the event the court cannot resolve the motion by October 2nd, appellant seeks a temporary administrative stay. The motion for a temporary administrative stay is granted. The injunction issued by the district court is stayed through October 10th of 2023. The stay does not apply to the district court's order enjoining section blah 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 for large capacity magazines that were lawfully acquired before the district court's order. Appellees are directed to file a response to the emergency motion on or before Saturday, September 30th. And you can see here judges Ikuda, Nelson, Bumate, and Van Dyke dissent from granting of the administrative stay, meaning they don't think it should go down this way. And like I said, some of these judges are pissed off about this. Let's look at just one of them. Here is Judge Bumate's dissenting decision. He said, for over a decade, our court has improperly interest balanced our way around the Second Amendment. The Supreme Court has had enough of it. In Bruin, the Supreme Court made clear that the Second Amendment must no longer be deemed a disfavorable right. With this clear direction from the Supreme Court, you might think that our court would return to regular order and handle the Second Amendment case like all others before our court. And in the normal course, emergency motions would be handled by a three-judge panel, but not here. Because this is a Second Amendment case, we now take the unprecedented step of taking an emergency motion as an en banc panel in the first instance. While our rules may leave room for such an unusual step, discretion and wisdom counsel against it. Indeed, to my knowledge, no en banc panel of this court has ever handled an emergency administrative stay motion as an initial matter, and the majority cites no precedent otherwise. So I'm left wondering why we rush to do something so unorthodox. I'll have a link down below so you can see the rest of the judges who dissented, and they make some phenomenal points. And they say that this is only happening because this is a Second Amendment case, and these judges are they're doing everything they can do other than what the Supreme Court said they have to do, which is rule on the Bruin decision, based off the Bruin decision. So this is an interesting turn. Stay tuned. What do you guys think will come of this? Will the Ninth Circuit remain undefeated? I will say the only good thing here is that we have skipped a step, if you will. By skipping this three-judge panel step, we don't have to wait for them to schedule it, hear the oral arguments, and render their decision, and then an appeal to the en banc. So this is one step closer to the Supreme Court, which is the next step. So we could get something going with this case back to the Supreme Court very soon. And I think that the justices, especially Clarence Thomas, will look forward to kicking California's teeth in. When he remanded the case, they remanded the case back down and said, fix this, according to Bruin. Well, the en banc panel is saying, F you, Supreme Court. This is California, and we're going to be this safe zone. So thank you for your time. I also want to tell you one more thing. The government watch list shirt that you see right here is back in stock as of this morning. They sell out quick. If you want one, grab one now. Link is down below. Not only will they not last long, you might not see the opportunity to get them long, if you catch my drift. Link is down below. You can also get my shirt here, the New Sons of Liberty. Phenomenal shirt. Says a lot to people who know what it means. Guys, thank you for your time. I'll see you on the next one. If I see you down at Iraq Veterans Range Day, come say hi. I look forward to seeing you. Take care. Subscribe to the channel. Share it. Like it. Do all the things to help the channel and help the word get out. Take care.